sort of revolving door of it came to be about people not living up to his expectations, and the penalty was like Donald Trump, you're fired. You could be fired for breaking the ranks and you're no longer a bartender. And I got love for you. RipRight, good to see you again. That's a penalty. He didn't like us being on, other people's parks. He didn't like us being sort of attached to other athletes, especially if you were former bartender.
مفتوح للاجتهادات التقليد هذا حد العالم هذا طالب هذا راسخ والى اخره تحت ايضا قال
OG 𝐁𝐄𝐂𝐌𝐄 in the building, man.
But there's no, like, you look at beast mode, you look at barbarians, they have requirements, man, and those things, man, those requirements, man, like monumental. If bartenders had those requirements, a lot of people wouldn't
be a bartender.
Right, wouldn't be a bartender, And Giant has, every age limit, you have kids that are bartenders, you have elders. I was 50 years old when I joined Bartenders. So, there's no disparity.
And at the time with the bartenders, the practices would be just like in the parks?
Yeah, mostly in the parks. We didn't have an indoor facility. If the weather was inclement, we probably wouldn't hold practice. Sometimes, all the gyms, Blink, Planet Fitness, they love bartenders. You know what I'm saying? Bartenders had carte blanche at a lot of these gyms. A lot of them knew Giant either through video or working with him and whatnot. But mostly we practice outdoors.
Okay.
Saturdays was normally where you could find bartenders at 145th or 139th on Saturday mornings.
So as a bartender at the time, was it the community over competition slogan where, there was no competing? Were you ever able to compete, or you couldn't compete while you were with bartenders?
Well, that concept, that phrase wasn't out when I first joined. He didn't use that phrase when I first joined Bartenders. That phrase came along when, as the competitions progressed, as more and more competitions started to happen. But Giant really didn't promote his athletes to be in contests. However, he never restricted people from being in contests, but he definitely let you know if you lost, it would be a penalty, because you're representing, the brand or, bartenders, and he didn't want to take no L's. He certainly didn't want to, have anybody associated with him losing. And sometimes, it's, you don't win every time, man. You don't place every time. So, most of the bartenders were maybe discouraged from competing because, you didn't want to have that on your mind while you're competing. If you don't do well enough, I mean, people give their best effort, and, it's, competing sometimes, man. When you begin, it's not about winning, you know what I'm saying? It's the experience, and, maybe you will move on and eventually win, but, a lot of people don't win or place sometimes, all the time in competitions. But he sort of, in a subliminal way, discouraged it as opposed to promoting it. Then the video came out, the song came out. This is not a street workout.
Okay.
When the phrase street workout came out, it sort of rubbed some of the New York athletes the wrong way because, you know, we sort of trying to leave that connotation out of what we do, particularly the bartenders. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I looked at street workout as being like a reflection of what they saw. You know what I'm saying?
He was on the street, almost like
right.
the park.
You know, I'm
outside.
working out in boots. I got my True Religions on. I didn't wear shorts and sweatsuits until later on, where, you know, it became like, you know, a sport like. But working out, we came to the park as we were.
Okay, this is a quick interject. So I remember you mentioning that you see me in a video and I was with Giant, right? And I had my shirt off.
Right.
You said you were shocked about that.
I was like, you must be one strong Muslim brother. You know.
Why you say that?
Because, you know, it was forbidden, man, to take your shirt off, man. I never took my shirt off, man, until Edge video.
And that was after
Bartenders. That was after Bartenders, but during.
So that was a rule.
That was a rule. That was like he was adamant about that. You know what I'm saying?
And you know why that rule was in place?
Because I mean, this is, you know, he said that, you know, he don't care how your body looks. That really doesn't define, you know, if you you know, a calisthenics athlete. You know, body type is not impressive to him. Of course, you know, sets and reps are important, but how many you could do doesn't define your character, attitude, and personality.
Cap.
That superseded everything, man. Cap.
Okay. Now, I always like every bartenders I get in contact with, because Matrix made a statement, and we always have to fact check, you know. Have you ever did 10 sets with Giant? Pull up, push up, and dip?
Yes.
Okay, the fourth bartender.
Yes, I have. Matrix asked me the question as well, you know, and see, you got to understand, CEO, you know, Giant is a CEO, but he's a CEO in a different regard than other CEOs of other teams. You know, I don't know if these other teams have non-for-profit organizations. It's a 9 to 5, you know, process with Giant. Gets up early in the morning every day to deal with schools and, you know, principals and organizations. And now in practices, you know, as a leader, sometimes you're instructing, you know what I'm saying? But one thing about Giant as a CEO, he is a rare CEO that, you know, actually is on the front line when it comes to training. You know, most coaches or team leaders are sort of instructing. So during his instruction, during practice, he may not functionally do 10 sets of everything, you know what I'm saying? Because he's engaging as well as instructing. However, on a different note, when we used to meet, he would call me and, where you at? I'm in the park. All right, I'm on my way. So that's where the 10 sets of around the world.
On off time.
Right, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what we did. That's what I did, you know what I'm saying? 10 sets, that was my minimum. You know what I'm saying? I'm not leaving until, I don't care what's going on, I'm doing 10 around the world. You know what I'm saying? I might do 7 reps or 10 reps or 15 reps, but I'm doing 10 sets. And sometimes when you're around certain individuals, you know that's the protocol. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna undermine yourself and not do 10 or more sets. So it was sort of like, damn, I know I can't leave, excuse my language, I can't leave because I gotta do 10. And, you know, this is natural, or this is Transformer, or whoever you're working out with. You know, these guys, you know, the minimum is 10, and certain athletes, after the 10, they come back and do more. So there have been occasions where we did 10 sets. But as far as like in a practice setting, you may not get 10 sets.
Okay. So from the time you was with Bartenders, right, 4 years, have you seen anybody come and leave?
Oh man.
The turnaround, was it, you know, like now, because we have a lot of people mentioning from the original bartenders up until now, the bartenders lineup is you know, it's a fast turnaround rate. What, you know, why is it why is the turnaround rate so significant like this, you know, from your point of view?
Well, from my point of view, you know, like I said, I've been involved in organized sports since I was 8 years old. And I was a top athlete. I was outstanding. I was an elite athlete from pee-wees through college.
Without a doubt.
So being in an organized setting on a team, you know, there's positions that you're fighting for, there's favoritism, there's, you know, it's competitive within that team. You know what I'm saying? So I understood the dynamics of competition within a team, you know what I'm saying? And some of the things that could, you know, the jealousy and the, you know, resentments, you know what I'm saying? Now, when we did shows or performances or events, everybody didn't make the lineup. You know what I'm saying? If you were late or your morals or principles were in question, you might not make the team, so to speak, or the traveling team. You might not make the starting five or the lineup. You know what I'm saying? So the sort of revolving door of it came to be about people not living up to his expectations, and the penalty was like Donald Trump, you're fired. You know, that was a constant ton of bricks over your head. You could be fired for breaking the ranks.
In meaning?
If we were en route to a show, you used to be a bartender, and you no longer a bartender, and I got love for you, I'm stepping off the ranks. RipRight, good to see you again. That's a penalty. If I go to, say for instance, I'm training some new bartenders, and I'm park to park. You know what I'm saying? I'll get into that later on, but I'm park to park, and there are certain parks that you take the intermediate, you take the beginner. You know, there's certain parks made for wherever
level you on.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So a great park for beginners is Yankee Stadium. You know what I'm saying? They got the different levels of bars and different levels of push-ups. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it sort of fits the beginner. You know what I'm saying? So I have taken new bartenders that I was in charge of showing the system to Yankee Stadium, and he didn't like that. You know
because they weren't
bartenders. He didn't like us being on, you know, other people's parks. He didn't like us being sort of attached to other athletes, especially if you were a former bartender. It was almost forbidden for you to even speak about these guys, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, you always had that threat over your head, man.
Of getting fired.
Right, and then, you know, you got people that are men, that are functioning men, you know what I'm saying, before they even get the bartenders in, to sort of be subjected to, you know,
kid treatment.
That kind of treatment. You know, a grown man is not going to stand for that. So
been to prison.
Right.
Probably
you know
got a couple murders.
Functioning all this
sold
long.
all type of drugs in the
Exactly.
streets. Bust, you know, change man now, trying to be humble.
Exactly. And, you know, you sort of get around that energy, you know what I'm saying, the, you know, sort of dictative energy, you know what I'm saying? Certain men are not going to just tolerate that, you know what I'm saying? It's not so much what you say, it's like how you make that person feel. So, especially in a group among other men, you don't want to be slighted or undermined, especially if you're not slighting and undermining anyone else. So, I'm not going to say people were fired. Some people may have just said, I had enough. You know what I'm saying?
Like DBlock, shout out to DBlock.
Right. I didn't
Myself
meet
included, I
D-Block,
didn't get
but,
fired.
I'm gonna get to a D-Block story though. You know what I'm saying? With D-Block and Matrix, you know how I sort of met D-Block and Matrix. You know what I'm saying? You know.
Okay, so you might as well jump into that now.
Well, like I said, I Giant entrusted me. You know what I'm saying, to certain positions, man.
And at this
certain
time,
responsibilities.
D-Block and Matrix was still with Giant?
They
long gone.
I never knew them as being bartenders.
Okay,
I knew
did.
Matrix as being
NBXA,
Bar Matrix, NBXA,
yeah,
and D-Block, Rock the Bars. I didn't know him when he was a bartender.
So were you so you must have been, because I seen Giant at one of the NBXA events. Were you down Bartenders at that time?
Yeah, that was 2012.
And you went?
We went. We all went.
What was your take on it? Because when I seen it, it blew my mind.
Well,
The size, the people from, you know, so many different parts.
Oh man, it
of
was.
The world, you know.
It was an amazing event, man. The park was packed. They like promoted the event. You know what I'm saying? Had a nice little, you know, promotion of the event.
And at that time, it's like Giant and Matrix weren't together.
They definitely.
So what made that trip happen? What was the sense of going?
Well,
just to support.
Well, for me, I had been, you know, NBXA had events prior to 2012. So I sort of stood on the outskirts and watched these events, you know what I'm saying? You know, saw all these great athletes, you know, Beast, what's his brother's name?
Juice.
Zeph. That's where I first saw it. Oh, man, Soul, JR, you know, some of the...
Bandana Red.
Oh, man, Bandana Red,
you could go on, the list goes on.
Yeah, the list goes on and on, man. And this was where I first encountered those guys, you know what I'm saying? But I was on the peripheral.
Oh, so Zeph was involved into the tournament at that time, or
he didn't
just was
compete
there?
at that particular one in 2012. But I think he may have competed in the prior ones because they started around 2009. Matrix is the first guy. See, when you talk about the game, you know what I'm saying? It was no bar game until the games, until the 5Bs. It wasn't no game. It was working out. You know what I'm saying? It was working out. It wasn't no bar game before 5Bs. And as far as competitions, was Matrix, NBXA. That's when let the games begin. You know, it was no game initially. You know what I'm saying? It was no game. It was no ball game. So as far as a contribution to the game, I don't think bartenders contributed to the games because I could take you to 2012. 2012, when we went to NBXA tournament, it was about 15 of us, and Giant forbid anybody to compete. Nobody competed that day. We sat there, we watched, you know, Juan and all these great athletes.
Were you able to touch the bars? Were you able to like?
Well, you have maybe, you know, guys like maybe Black Ninja or somebody that may have just did a short demonstration of, you know, Black Ninja, you know, he's popular, you know, in the ball world. We had another athlete, Jedi, you know what I'm saying? He was nasty. Jedi was probably the premier athlete when I joined. He was the premier bartender. He was the showstopper. He was the closer because of his moves, you know what I'm saying? There's a music video that Bartenders did with The Rock from 𝐏𝐀𝐄𝐎𝐍. And in that video, Jedi, who's no longer a bartender, Jedi did a move. He took Lord Vital's elevator. He did the elevator and did a skin a cat
On
put
the
his legs
elevator.
and let go and came down and caught the next ball.
Oh no.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh no, I'm just imagining
he
that.
innovated off of the
elevator.
Lord Vital's elevator. We used to practice elevators. I could do an elevator. I've done it before.
Yeah.
And,
Elevator's not that hard, but
no, it's not that hard.
Skinning the cat.
But skinning the cat while you up there, that's a long way to drop. And just imagine when you do a video, right? There's the first take might not be like, nah, do it again. You know, so you gotta do other takes. So now he's gotta go up and execute the move again. And like I said, he had to walking pneumonia. He had the Hong Kong flu that day. No energy whatsoever. It was like some Michael Jordan, you know, move to it. And we got to do it again. And he went up, and you know, I know I was holding my breath. It was an intense moment watching him, you know, like skin, especially the skin.
We got to reach out to Jedi. Okay, so now at that MDXA, was that the first time you got to meet D-Block and?
No, I didn't meet D-Block then. I didn't meet Matrix then, but I knew Matrix. You know what I'm saying? Because of the tension that was, you know, I was with Moms the day before the event. You know what I'm saying? And when he saw me with a bartender shirt on,
Moms?
Yeah, the look in his face was like, I told you about this dude, man.
Okay, so now Moms wasn't with Giant at the time, but now he is. So
Moms was with
Matrix. Okay, so it's a split back and forth
at that
thing
time.
going on.
You know what I'm saying? And you know, not only Moms, I informally met No Question through his cousins, because his cousins live in my building, and they like, yo, my cousin is a bartender. But I didn't know who it was. So as I watched videos and stuff like that, I ran across No Question, and eventually I ran into No Question, and I think I had, the way I was introduced, I may have had a bartender shirt on, but I was introduced as, oh, this is the guy I was telling about, this is Natural from the Bartenders. And the look he gave me was like, you with them, excuse my language, you know what I'm saying? And I felt it, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, I was like, damn, you know, I was like, No Question, wow, man, you just fly over the ball, you know? And he was pretty much like, you with them dudes.
Yeah, he already left Bartenders.
Right. So I was getting a lot of that, you know what I'm saying? Especially towards the end.
And you didn't understand?
Well, I sort of understood it, because before I even became a bartender, I had brothers stepping to me like, you ain't gonna make it. You ain't putting up. You're the type of person you are, Natural. You're not gonna stand for that.
Indeed, in the body, literal translation, is a lump of flesh, a piece of meat. إِذَا صَلَحَتْ صَلَحَ الْجَسَدُ كُلُّهُ. And when that lump of flesh